Hey guys, welcome back to the Sal Pitera channel. Now today we are in Grand Turk, but if you watched my video yesterday, just a couple of days ago, we were in Curaçao, which is a beautiful island Caribbean port. And while we were there, a protest broke out. Now since then, I've received a lot of messages online from both normal citizens as well as people who claim to be in the government of Curaçao. And I want to talk to you about that and give you my opinion on what happened when we come back right after this. Hey guys, welcome back. So let me tell you a bit what happened from our point of view, but first let me tell you about the island in general. We've been to Curaçao many times, and I'm here to tell you it is a great little island right off the coast of Aruba and Venezuela, and the people there are absolutely wonderful. As a matter of fact, it's an island that my wife and I even considered moving to this year. So I don't want you to think from my video the other day that we're unhappy with the people of Curaçao, because we're not. It is a fabulous place to visit, and if you haven't been there, I strongly recommend that you do. But let me tell you what happened to us 2 days ago when we were on the beautiful island. So we got off of the beautiful Carnival Sunshine in port to do a little bit of shopping and a little bit of video throughout the island. And we got to the main tourist area of the island, and in fairness, it's also where their government building is located. We were having a bite to eat, and all of a sudden, we were swarmed with people on the street who obviously weren't tourists. They were locals to the area. One gentleman had a bullhorn, was screaming into a bullhorn. You could hear police sirens, and I'm sure now, thinking back, it was probably somebody lighting off firecrackers, but for a couple moments it almost sounded like gunfire. So needless to say, it was very startling. As a tourist on an island, we had no idea what was happening. So within a few minutes, it became obvious that it was some kind of protest on the island. The streets were swarmed with locals, and the only thing we could really get out of it is that we're protesting America of somehow. And the reason I say this is because the gentleman with the bullhorn, as well as the people screaming in the crowd, were not speaking in English. So we really didn't know what's going on. In the middle of my video, I did find somebody to give us a brief synopsis of what was going on. But I'm here to tell you, during the actual protest, as a tourist point of view, we had no idea if it was a peaceful protest or if it was the beginning of some type of terrorist attack. We really didn't know, because all we saw was the people screaming, swarming the streets, the sirens, the firecrackers or gunshots or whatever it was going off, making the snapping noise. So as tourists, we really didn't know what was going on. So since I posted that video 2 days ago of the event that happened in Curaçao, I've gotten a lot of communications, both by email as well as on my Facebook and my YouTube channel. Some of them have been by local residents, and some of them who claim to be government officials. And they've asked me either to take the video down or change the topic, because they feel that because it was a peaceful protest, that my topic on it shouldn't really say that we were scared. But I'm here to tell you, cruise people were scared. The tourists really had no idea what was going on, because the whole thing was presented in a language that we didn't know. And with the sirens and the firecrackers and the bullhorns and all the people and the police officers that were standing guard, I mean, we just didn't know what was going on. And because of that, I'm here to tell you, my friends in Curaçao, you did scare us. And I think that's reasonable to assume that the tourists would have been scared. So I do understand that a good part of your economy comes from tourism business. And I'm sorry if my video is going to hurt that tourism slightly. I don't think it's going to hurt you all that much, because anybody who watches the video will see that it did end up being a peaceful protest. But, you know, I kind of feel like you folks chose to do that demonstration during the height of the tourist day, while the cruise ships were in town. You chose to do it in a square where tourists were abundant and they were out and about, and you knew we were there. And in today's day and age, you had to know that some of us were going to have a camera. You know, and then at the end of the protest, I went up to the person who had the bullhorn, and this you didn't see on video, and I told him that I was taking video for me, as well as I've already communicated with a major newscast channel in the United States. I wanted to know in English what was going on so that my viewers would have an honest take of both sides. And the gentleman literally laughed in my face and pretended that he didn't speak English. And the reason I say pretended is I had a friend of mine go up to him afterwards and spoke to him in English, and he spoke to her perfectly fine in English. A few moments later, I went up to a Parliament official, and I asked him to explain to me on camera what was going on, because not only was I going to use it on my blog, but a major telecast in the United States was also considering using my video as well. And he didn't laugh at me, but he told me straight out, no, that it was none of America's business and that he didn't think America had any reason to know what was happening on their island. So for those of you that are emailing me telling me that I didn't try to go above and beyond to get the full story, I absolutely did. And you guys didn't want to tell me what the story was. So the only thing I could post was what I saw, what the camera saw. I did not edit that footage. Nothing was taken out of it. So you saw the entire video as it happened in Curaçao. So if it does hurt your tourism business a little bit, I'm sorry. I don't want it to. I still think Curaçao is an absolutely wonderful place to visit. I will certainly be back, and I recommend to all of my viewers to be back. But I can also recommend to my friends in Curaçao, you have an absolute right to protest the United States and what we may be doing that you don't like. But if you do it in front of the tourists, if you do it to make a point to the tourists, by doing it in the height of the tourist day, don't be upset when that tourist goes home and tells his friends or viewers about it. That's just my opinion. I love Curaçao, and for the rest of my viewers that are outside Curaçao, I'll see you on board your next cruise.